Kristen. I was like, okay. I'm like, why is this acting like this is like AOL dial-up and like I can't get to Kristen?
Guilty as charged. This was all my fault. I'm sitting up on live like, hey guys, we're about to go live soon. Follow me. I'm tap dancing. I'm plugging the book. I'm
Listen, it's fine. You did what you were supposed to do. We both were going live like, okay, where's the other person? So, and I had the computer. I was like, oh, let me email her. Then I was like, oh, let me get my glasses. Like, I had a whole situation over here because normally I do this from my desk. And I was like, you know what? I want to be cozy. I want to be on the couch. So I'm sitting on the couch. And I was like, we're going to do a little book chat.
Because I sure would have been on my couch chilling. I'm in my office like, okay, lighting's good. Okay.
Right.
All my people.
I dragged my ring light over here. I was like, we're going to need to get the ring light to get a little illuminated. Okay. So hello, everyone joining us. We're together now. Well, I promise you, we are all the way together. We are professional. We do this, for a living, not just for fun. Okay, so welcome everyone. So let me just do a proper introduction and let me say, welcome Christen Rochon she goes by Candidly Christian on Instagram, but she is a media executive, a serial entrepreneur. You may have remembered her from Divas and Dorks, but she's also now the author of The Creative Discipline. And so if you were live with me like 2 minutes before, I was talking about the biggest thing that is a challenge for us, and it's not the creating part, it's not the thinking of the idea, it's the execution, and then, as you said, create, execute, and repeat. So I'm going to get right into it. So one of the things that I liked in the book is that you talked about hijacking your motivational system, because a lot of people think that they have to wait for the muse, right? They got to wait for inspiration to hit. And I don't feel like writing right now. I don't feel like painting or doing this thing. But you're like, no, you need to hijack your motivational system. What does that mean?
I mean, when you think about it, we're all individuals. So we were all created differently. We all have different things that motivate us, things that trigger us, things that make us happy, things that make us motivated. And it's kind of our responsibility to kind of figure out what those things are. So you can kind of create a cheat code or hijack how you motivate yourself. And it's almost, for me, I know that I'm a morning person, but there's certain things I'm not going to do before 9 o'clock or before a cup of coffee. So right. It's like knowing who you are as a person and then kind of taking that blueprint of who you are and then saying, okay, you know what, if I know I'm more productive in the afternoons, then I'm going to assign these certain tasks, these certain goals, these certain things, these certain actions to when I'm most productive. So it's really kind of reverse engineering and really hijacking your peak area of productivity.
One of the things for me that helps with my peak productivity is journaling. I like to say and I will talk about this a little later, but I like to say my gratitude prayers in the morning and and also journal at night. And then sometimes I journal in the morning too, it depends on how I'm feeling. So we usually use our journals to like confess our fears and just be private on the page, because we spill it all on the page, Lord, help me get a baby, whatever we want to do, right? But you're saying for creatives, like, listen, you need to track where your progress is, where your time is. Why are we using the journal to track that? Because I'm thinking that seems a little cold and impersonal. What do you say about that?
Absolutely. So I'm a huge fan when it comes to like writing things down, period. Like, to quote the Bible, it says, write the vision, make it plain. On the flip side, Erykah Badu says, if you really want to see something get real, write it down with a real pencil, real pen, real paper, and watch it gets real. So it's like, if you're wondering, okay, why am I unable to, really focus and really be productive? And where's my time going? How about you take an analysis of where your time is going? Take an assessment of, what am I wasting my time on? Am I on Instagram scrolling all night? Am I on Clubhouse just, ear hustling all night? What am I doing? Exactly. Like, what am I doing that's not allowing me to reach my goals, or at least put forth the effort towards reaching my goals? And I think the first thing you need to do to assess that is write down where your time is going.
Okay, so tell the truth. Is it Clubhouse for you right now that has most of your time? Like, because I can get an alert at 1 a.m. and I'm like, what is happening on Clubhouse at 1 o'clock in the morning that I need to listen to? And then, of course, I click and I'm like, okay, that's a good conversation.
I listen listen and assess more than I speak. Like I think
Okay.
I was saying this on, well, no, I was thinking about this earlier because I talk to myself a lot. So I really
Me
do.
too. We're Pisces, same day. So we do a lot of the same stuff. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So I was thinking like, I really do listen more than I speak. And one thing about Clubhouse, it's a wealth of information. You can get a wealth of knowledge, but it depends on what your focus is. Like if your focus is to become a thought leader, is to become an influencer, is to have a bunch of followers, then you're going to use that platform accordingly. If your, purpose, or if you choose to just want to listen, learn, evaluate, amass information, knowledge, then you use it a little bit differently. So while my whole life revolves around media, entertainment, writing a book, TV, radio, I find myself in rooms that have nothing to do with any of those subjects
Yes.
because I'm interested in learning more. So I know I had shared before, like I'm in like the real estate rooms. I'm in the rooms talking about digital real estate.
Oh,
You
you in the big bank rooms, big bank, take
listen,
little bank rooms. Okay.
absolutely.
Ping me so I can be in those
that.
rooms.
Yeah, and I found a lot of value from that too. Like value, and another thing about Clubhouse is it's great to listen, but if you're not taking what you learn and taking that off of the platform and instituting it into real life, then you're missing the boat. Like one time I was in a room, it was close to like 2, 3 in the morning talking about commercial real estate. I literally got connected with a person who connected me with someone locally, and I was able to like initiate doing business with them. So that's one of the things that I do appreciate about the platform, as long as it don't take up too much of your time now.
Listen, we're trying not to. I really we spend so much time using social media for our business that it can be you can get addicted to the new thing, because I found myself when I first got on there listening all the time. One of the things though that I noticed in terms of your book, when you talked about journaling, so you talked about journaling to track your time, but you also talked about journaling to write down your fears and regrets. What does that do for us? Because as creatives, we're very fearful of putting a thing out there and not having it accepted. Hey, Ty.
Absolutely. Hey, Ty.
She said it can be a drainer. Ty, you're always super
Absolutely.
busy, so I should have brought. Ty, I should have wore your shirt. I bought 2 of Ty's shirts. Sorry, I didn't represent for you tonight, Ty. Next time.
Funny story. Ty was the first person to tell me about Clubhouse, and she was like, "Yeah, it's a really cool platform for like influencers." And I was like, "Nope, not another one. I don't want." And it took me probably like 2 or 3 months later to just be like peeking in, like, okay, what's really going on in here? So shout out to Ty.
Thank you, Ty, for putting her on. So now back to, sorry, I got so distracted. So now back to using your journal to track your fears. Why is that? Why is that important? Why is that something that should even be considered?
So I think when it comes to fears, like, of course, there's a phrase, face your fears and all that good stuff. And in theory, it sounds great. It's a very tough thing to do. And I believe, like, when it comes to facing your fears, the more that you're comfortable with it and comfortable with addressing them and literally looking them face to face, it kind of prepares you for the worst case scenario. And it kind of gives you an attitude of, okay, I know what to do, or I'm prepared just in case, the worst comes to worst.
One of the things I think about creating anything, putting it out in the world, whether it's a podcast, an ebook, a book, starting a business, is that we don't really know what we're doing. Sometimes we need a partner to hold us accountable, to make sure that we're meeting our goals. And so on Sunday, I had this workshop called Write the Vision. Speaking of write the vision, make it plain. And one of the things that came up is a lot of women said, oh, I need an accountability partner, because I know that if I just say I'm going to launch on February 12th, and if I don't do it, nobody's going to know that I didn't do it, because, right? Because I just said it to myself. I didn't say it on Instagram. I didn't say it on Clubhouse. But for me, I think like there's a certain kind of partnership that I need. What do you think people should look for in terms of accountability partners?
I think first and foremost, the people that you're asking to be your accountability partner, are they equally yoked, or are they equally aligned with like your work ethic, with what you're trying to accomplish? Like, you have to be very intentional about who you invite and who you want to align yourself with. Also, do they have the capacity? Do they have the time? Are you looking, like, do you know what the time commitment includes? And this goes with asking someone to be your mentor or asking someone to be your accountability partner. Like, define what those time commitments look like. Am I going to be meeting with you weekly, bi-weekly, monthly? What exactly is your goal? What exactly are you looking to accomplish? And I think when looking for an accountability partner, you have to have all those questions answered before you even approach someone.
Right.
And you know, you still may be in a situation where life happens, they can't, you know, pour into you because they're too busy trying to keep a hold to life themselves. So
Right.
it's almost like, what do you do when you don't have someone available to you 24/7, weekly, monthly, whatever, to be your accountability partner? And that's kind of why I wrote the book, because it kind of takes you step by step on what you need to do. And it helps you figure out what you need to do. And when you write it down, going back to the writing it down, making it plain, it kind of helps you keep yourself accountable.
I think too that when you have someone else that's working on their own project, so if we're accountability partners, right, as an
Mm-hmm.
example, and we're both working on our thing, we can then check in on each other, because the other person, I think, without them being tied to something, they may fall off if that's not their strong suit. So if I'm calling you like, okay, Christen, you said the book was going to be done by, March 1st. What's going on? We got birthday plans. If we going out March 4th, because this is, in my mind, we're not in quarantine anymore. We're not in the pandemic anymore, right?
Right.
Because I don't know how it is in Detroit, but, Cuomo said, y'all can't go nowhere. So we're not going anywhere but to eat. So
At
that's
least
just,
y'all got that. Our restaurant's closed, girl.
you
We
don't,
locked down.
oh, y'all locked down. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
you just doing takeout.
Yeah.
Got you. One of the things about goals is that, which I loved and didn't think about this before, is that you said it has to have an emotional payoff. Now, what do you mean by that, and why is that important?
I mean, you have to think about it. If it's not something you're passionate about, if it doesn't encompass your why, then is it really a realistic goal? Is this something that's going to wake you up in the middle of the night and really fuel you and make you feel passionate about accomplishing? And I think that the only goal that is a real goal in life has to be one that evokes some sort of emotion, some sort of payoff, whether it's, providing generational wealth for your family, or, bettering the lives of others. There has to be some sort of purpose, payoff, emotional tie, emotional just passion that evokes whatever your goal is. If not, it's just another check mark or checkbox. And who wants to live their life checking off boxes?
Got it. So, for instance, what do you think happens when, I think one of the biggest things that happens around the new year is that people make resolutions. I don't even like to use that word anymore, because I like to set intentions, have one word, have a specific goal. But a lot of people want to lose weight, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they just say, I want to lose weight this year. But what's wrong? Like, that's the wrong way, you say, to set a goal, because there is a connection to it that you may emotionally feel like, yeah, I need to lose 10 pounds or 20 pounds. But why is just saying it that way, like, I want to lose weight? Why is that the wrong way to set a goal? And that's just not just for weight, that's just for anything. Like, oh, I
Absolutely.
want to be on TV, like it's random.
Right. Okay. Well, why or when or no? I mean, one of the biggest things that I try to adhere to, and I shared in the book, is developing SMART goals. And SMART goals, people may have heard of it. If not, it's an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely goals. And basically, to the example of losing weight. Okay, I want to lose 10 pounds. Well, why do you want to lose 10 pounds? Well, I want to lose 10 pounds because I want to look good in a black dress that I'm wearing to my class reunion. That's going to be in June. Like, okay, so now we're getting somewhere. And I think when you develop those SMART goals, it kind of helps you dig a little bit deeper into the why. It gives you a timeline. It gives you a way where you can measure what those goals are. And I think for me, it's the only way to set a goal, because a goal like, hey, I want to be on TV. Well, why?
Right.
Okay, well, and when? I think you have to answer those questions before you actually write down a goal that you truly want to accomplish.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're saying, I want to be on TV, are we talking Good Morning America? Are you trying to take Robin Roberts' spot? You know,
Right.
are you now trying to be on with Kelly? Are you trying to knock, your boy out the box and make it, colored girls on TV? Like, what's
Right.
going on? The chocolate girls are like, what are you doing? One, one of the things for me, because I come from magazines in terms of setting goals, is I like to reverse engineer, because
Yes.
when working in magazines, and from digital publishing, it's like you have this live date. You have this date
Hmm.
where it's like on sale live. Even if you're doing micro sites with like a brand partner or something, it's like it has to be live April 15th. And so for me, I always think about all the pieces that need to happen before April 15th. And when you work in a company or a brand, it's not just you with all those deadlines, right? So now you have colleagues who have to meet their deadlines as well. When you were doing like brand stuff, how did you handle that in terms of working with others, making sure they met theirs? Because you can meet your deadlines all day. It's like college with like a group
Hmm.
project. You can meet your deadline, and somebody else is not meeting theirs. So
Absolutely.
how did you deal?
I mean, I think first and foremost, communication was always key. Like, and stuff happens. Like, I never had a bad experience working with a brand as far as when I was doing the stuff with Divas and Dorks, and even today. But going back to the idea of reverse engineering, like, you know what the goal is. Now, what are all the applicable steps necessary in order to make this goal feasible? And I think when you think about it that way, and you really do look at worst case scenario, best case scenario, timing, what if this is late? Well, what are we going to do just in case? When you think about all those scenarios, it makes accomplishing a goal a whole lot easier, because you kind of looked at it in its totality and then you worked it backwards.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. And so everybody who is not familiar with reverse engineering and working backwards, these are all the steps that need to happen. So if you're thinking about like email marketing, all the emails that you may need to send, from that introductory email to, hey, right before we went live, and like probably an hour or so before, my email list got a reminder that we were going live. Because if you send it out 7 days in advance or a month in advance, everyone's going to forget. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
remind people. So you guys take that under advisement. I see we got a question, and I'm gonna get to you in a second. So, one of the things, another thing, there was a lot that I loved about the book, so I'm not even going to keep saying I loved it, but but how do you reward yourself? Because I don't think that we think about that. How do you reward yourself as you progress towards your micro goals? So not just the big goal, but the goals in between, the milestones.
Absolutely. So I think I really had to transform my mind into really celebrating the small goals, because if you think about it, the small goals are really just kind of quarterly goals that get you closer to whatever the big goal is. Not sure if you turned
Yeah,
off
that's
your
a
comments.
comments. Yeah, I
Uh,
did. I did,
okay.
Nick. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
to that question, I think it's really important to reward yourself even with the small goals, because once again, those small goals are getting you one step closer to your big goal. Now, for me, I reward myself in different ways, whether it's food, snacks, that's what I love, food. So I sometimes reward myself that
We
way,
are
but also,
kindred spirits. I love food
listen,
too. Go ahead.
March 4th
Okay.
babies, come
Yes.
on now. Oh, I mean, it's the only birthday with the given instruction to March 4th. So
Thank you.
we're on the same page.
Hello. So you reward yourself with food. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, I reward myself with food, but I also just, that's why I like writing down things too, because you can really look at the beginning of a project and look at the beginning of the birth of an idea, and look at all the different steps and accomplishments that you made towards actually seeing it done. Like, to be honest, writing the book was not something that I set forth to do. Like 5 years ago, it was not like, what? I want to write a book for creatives that's going to really help and inspire and motivate. No, I wrote the book honestly because I was like, I wish it was a book that creatives could look at, that creatives can work through, that creatives can, you know, develop ideas and actually be able to see them through. And I searched online. I did the whole Amazon thing. I did Barnes and Noble. And I was like, there's no book like this. And kind of going back to the whole reason why I developed my first site, divasandorks.com, it was because I wanted something for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So my biggest thing is, sometimes you have to create the things that you wish existed. And that was the reason why I wrote the book.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you did, because a lot of people needed those kinds of steps. I wish that I had shared information about your book with the workshop on Sunday, because I think people would have benefited from the exercises. So what I'm going to do is email everybody who participated so that they can get your book, because so first of all, for people who don't know or may not have the book yet, there are exercises, there are journal entries that you can complete. And one of the exercises is the brain dump. Talk to them about the brain dump, because that's really important in terms of creation and execution.
Absolutely. So the brain dump was really, sometimes you can have all these ideas in your head. You can have all of these just grandiose ideas, small ideas, things stressing you out, all of these things. And sometimes you just need to clear it out the way in order to kind of start fresh and really develop a plan to bring the goal or the business to life. So the brain dump was really just an opportunity for folks, and it's in the book. It's really an opportunity for you to kind of refresh, cleanse your mind, cleanse your palate, and really kind of ideate what you want your creation or your goal to be. And I think it's all too important. Like, we talk about setting the goals, we talk about taking the steps towards those goals, but we very rarely talk about putting yourself in a position to really just kind of fulfill and visualize what you want that goal to be. And that's really what the brain dump worksheet is for.
And when you guys do the worksheet, you'll see when you brain dump, there's like things you can do this week, things you can do next month. I think there's even the delegate box, which is my favorite, because as a one-woman show, I'm like, I'm sending the email, I'm designing the flyer, I'm hitting live, like I'm doing all the things, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You're like a one-man band, and you're like literally coordinating everything. And it's like, no, delegation is a huge part of accomplishing any goal, because you can't do it all by yourself.
So you guys, you need to reverse engineer, you need your accountability partners, and you need to delegate. Let's talk a little bit about, so we can have all these things in place, but you meant you have this great list of like 50 creative spark ideas. Tell me some of your creative spark ideas. You tell me yours, and I'll tell you mine.
Okay, we sharing.
Yes.
So it's funny because typically music helps. Like, I can be in a funk. For example, yesterday I was in the biggest funk. I was like roaming from room to room in my house. Like, I can't get inspired. I don't feel like doing anything. It was the worst to like the afternoon, and it was like, you know what? Just go for a drive. Went for a drive, jamming to some Prince, some Ty Tribbett. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and just pick me up something from the grocery and cook. One of the biggest things in the book, or one of the first one actually, is grab some ingredients and cook a meal. And that was how I was able to kind of get out of that funk, kind of get that creative spark back, just get that joy back, period. So for me, it's music and cooking for sure. Okay. Now you tell me yours.
Okay, so because I'm a big geek and a big nerd, I love to read. And I read any and everything. So it could be sci-fi, it could be chick lit, it could be YA. I love that. And I'm really into audiobooks right now too. So I not only did I read Revelations and interview Bevy Smith, I also have the audiobook because I wanted to feel like, me and Bevy are in the room chilling and she's just talking to me, telling me her life story. So that for me works. I also love Googling my name to see what comes up. And then you know what I do? Because my name is Taiia, and if I see anyone else with my name, because I think I'm the only Taiia in the world, how dare you have my name? I am now tracking you down. I'm on a whole mission.
Who is this Taiia?
Exactly.
I need an answer.
Exactly. And I want to know, do you pronounce it the way that I pronounce it? Because I think I'm special. Like, who else has 4 vowels back to back in their name? Nobody. Nobody. Okay. So that's one of my things. And then I wrote down my other thing. Oh, going live, right? Because going live, yes, because going live sometimes gives me energy because I feel like I have to, because we have, as Pisces, we definitely, as March 4 babies, we have that side of us that we are like completely introverted. But for me, going live brings out that extroverted side where it's like, yeah, I love to go on. Like I think Oprah had said that she realized she loved being in TV when she saw that red dot go on. She saw that red light and she knew it was time to go. So there's something for me about going live that just gives me energy and being able to interact with people in real time. So yeah, that might be a little addiction, might be a little
I
crazy.
love
But
it. Listen, when I was like on my, I call it my test live. I was on my test live and I had all the nervous energy in the world. Like I was beatboxing. I was like, all right, guys, what we doing?
right.
Where you calling in from? It was a lot. It
No,
was a lot.
and when we end, I will have so much energy. It's like now I can feel like I can go paint a room, I can go build something. And then it's weird because I have this like complete crash or when I'm done, like, oh my God, I'm so tired.
It takes a lot out of you.
Yes,
It
it
does.
does.
But to your point, I actually do listen to audiobooks too. So I got Revelations.
Yes.
I started that, and I actually started Lenny Kravitz has an audiobook
I got
called
it
Let
too.
Love
Love
Rule.
Rule. I didn't start
Yes,
it yet.
yes.
I didn't start it
I
yet.
started Revelations first. I started Revelations first, but I'm gonna get into Let Love Rule afterwards. So
It's
and
gonna be
that was a real big decision for me because every year in January I typically pick 2 or 3 audiobooks to listen to for the year and or to start off the year. And in the past it's always been like self-development books, business books, but this time I was like, nope, we're doing Revelations and Let Love Rule.
Yeah, sometimes you need to cleanse the palate. Like if you are a specific kind of reader or listener in terms of certain genres, yeah, sometimes a different genre can be a palate cleanser for you. So I love I'm addicted to memoirs. So let's talk about, because I think audiobooks do something, and podcasts too. I think they help to train our subconscious. So in the book, you talk about retraining your subconscious. How do you do that? What is that?
I think retraining your subconscious is not like a destination. It's like a journey. And for me, I've been on that journey for years now, and it's really been focused on prayer and intentionality. We shared a little bit earlier about how I've been known to like hope for the best and expect the worst. And that kind of prepares me just in case something bad happens to at least be prepared and know how to look whatever the fear is in the face and all that good stuff. But that, when you think about it, it's like you're pretty much like focusing on the worst case scenario.
Right.
And you do that subconsciously, then you're going to start manifesting that. So for me, it was like hold on, time out, flag on the play. I need to figure out how to retrain my brain, how to retrain how I think, how I'm motivated, how I'm manifesting. And one thing that I do is going back to the writing things down. I have a planner, and every day in my planner, I write down kind of like 7 to 8 goals, whether it's spiritually, mentally, financially, or physically. And one thing that I do is, after my morning prayer, after practicing gratitude, I thank God for waking me up this morning. And then I'm like, I talk to myself like, okay, girl, so what adventure are we in for today? Because, something's great going to happen. You don't know what it is, but by the end of the day, you're going to be like, wow, this really was a great day. And while I'm not I wouldn't call myself an internal or eternal optimist, I am the type of person that feels like when you look forward to great things are going to happen. And that's kind of how I've been able to kind of retrain my subconscious and really go throughout the day with gratitude. And even at the end of the day, looking back over the things that happened, looking back over the things that I saw, failures, accomplishments, no matter what, I look over those things and I practice a moment of gratitude, because guess what? There's no such thing as failure, especially if you learn a lesson from, that situation. Right. So that's one of the few ways that I try to retrain my subconscious.
Do you follow Dr. Benjamin Hardy? Because he's really big on that. He talks about your future self. So like, one of the things that I just recently learned from him is, and stop putting, so if you have an, like, let's say you have a project and you want to launch a podcast, and you know you want to launch your podcast April 1st, but now here you are not doing the things to take care of that podcast for April 1st. Instead, you're doing maybe like things that aren't related to it because you feel like, you know what, it's urgent, it demands my attention right now. And so his whole thing is, the podcast is part of your future self. So you need to be able to train your subconscious to work on your future self, because when you start to do that, then the things that you want your future self to be, as in a successful podcaster, they start to manifest. So I have started, to me, it's a challenge, because we have all the things, right? All the things piling up on the plate. And it's like, you might have immediate deadlines, but then it's like, okay, but this thing is really important to me, and it's going to change who Taiia is in the future. It's going to change who Christen is in the future. So I need to make sure I make time to do that. So I just wanted to, I'll share some stuff with you about Dr. Benjamin Hardy, because he's really good.
I love it.
You said, I'm not a coffee drinker in the morning, so I know that's part of your morning routine, like, and we want to set the tone for the day. What's some of the things that people can do? Like, what's some best practices to set the tone for the day? Because some people are not morning people. They wake up grouchy. They wake up angry. Yeah. What can we do to set the tone, especially when we're getting into our creative vibe?
I think one of the most simplest things you can do is actually smile. And I know that may sound corny, but there's literally like written like facts about how smiling activates all sorts of endorphins and things in your body that naturally kind of lightens your mood. Like, you could be pissed and you crack a smile, you may look crazy, but something in the brain is changing. So, I think one of the biggest things for me is, like, I have a dog, and every morning, I see him and I good morning, and I'm not a morning person, but just saying good morning and smile, it makes me like, and then seeing his just cute little face just makes me kind of light up, and it kind of lightens the load. Now, if you're spiritual, if you pray, which I definitely, suggest people do, praying in the morning helps, because it also, once you practice that gratitude and thank God for waking you up for another day, because luxury, and kind of set that path for good things to happen to you. Oh, you can't, did I miss out?
Right. No, it paused for a second. Technology paused. You're still good. I still hear you though. Okay. You're still good.
Yeah. So basically, I really do believe smiling in the morning, practicing gratitude. Even if you have to just bust out a two-step and listen to music first thing in the morning, I think that helps. That helps kind of guide your day and knock out the BS, because, if you know something's going to happen that day. Now, it depends on how you react to it. And I think, that's everything.
Absolutely. Somebody here, I think it was Daring Ideas, said, I sing. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Absolutely.
That is a good one. It gives you a lot of energy. I mentioned this earlier, but I don't want to give you too much information, but I do my gratitude prayers in the shower. So I'm talking to God in the shower as I'm getting myself clean, like so fresh and
Thank
so
you,
clean.
Heavenly Father.
Exactly. And I like to start the day with being thankful for what I have, right? Because often our prayers are so much like, let me get. Okay, I paused again. Froze. I don't know why my phone keeps pausing. Okay, I froze. I don't know why. So what I was saying was that our prayers are often so many requests that we have, and so instead of making like an immediate request, I want to just be acknowledged that I'm grateful, right? So I'm gonna say. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to say, thank you, God, for making sure I had a great Instagram live with Christen. I know that I froze a couple of times, but we just going to ignore that. But we're going to be thankful that we had a great conversation. We're going to be thankful for all the people that joined. We're going to be thankful that she poured into people, because a lot of people are appreciative of all the gems that you're dropping right now.
I love it. Another gem Really
Ooh, what is
quickly
it?
too,
Mm-hmm.
when you were talking about morning. So I have a playlist called Morning Joy. And
Ooh,
literally, no matter if you are in a funk, it's like a bunch of like uh gospel songs, some like hip hop songs, songs that really kind of get you armed and ready for the day. And when you think about it, even if you don't speak to anybody, don't say your prayer, anything, just listening to positive reinforcement, listening to words of worship, those things can also set your tone for the day. So I
right.
remember when I did have to go to an office and, just getting mentally prepared for what was to come, listening to that Morning Joy playlist instantly put me in a space of joy, in a space
Right.
of happiness, in a space of determination. And this is without one sip of coffee, one smile to my dog, none of this. So
Right.
if you don't, put yourself a playlist together that you know is going to get you amped, hyped, and ready for the day.
So now, is that playlist on Spotify or Tidal? Which one?
No, you know what? It's on my Apple Music.
Oh,
I
it's on
should
Apple
probably
Music.
share it. Yeah, I should probably share it or something. But
Yeah,
yeah,
get
it's really
stop
good.
being stingy. Share the list
I
with us
know.
so we can
Okay, I'm
get
gonna
our
share it.
thank you. We could get our mornings together. Tell me about as we get ready to wrap up, what is in terms of you've launched things, things have been successful, things haven't been. What do you think is your biggest maybe like creative regret?
My biggest creative, see, one thing about me is I'll try anything once because I don't believe in having regrets. Like, I believe when y'all put me in that box and it's my time to go,
We
I am
did
going to be
it.
happy. Yes, yes. So, I have a creative regret? I don't think I have a creative regret.
Okay.
I
That
honestly don't. Like, I think if there's anything that I would have wanted to do, I've already done it. And if I haven't, I'm going to do it. So I don't
yeah,
have a regret. I'm that
that's
type of
good.
person. Do it, get it done. If you fall on your face, so what? At least you tried. And that's better than a whole bunch of people that couldn't even give an attempt.
And
So
I think that's the thing that everyone here has to, that's one of the biggest takeaways. If you take nothing away, accountability partner, etc., all of that, take away that you cannot be scared to try it and have it not work, because that's the thing that keeps us from creating, executing, and
mm-hmm.
repeating, because we're scared. Like, what if it doesn't work? What if people don't get it? And it's like, if you go by that, then you'll never launch. You'll never have the podcast.
Absolutely.
You'll never have the book. You'll never be on TV and get Robin Roberts' job, right? You'll never do any of those things. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Miko said sometimes, she's talking about in terms of just waking up and setting that morning routine. She said sometimes just breathing, enjoying the quiet with a sip of water. Absolutely. I agree with you.
That'll do it.
Sometimes you need all of those things. Just checking the quick comments. Do you guys have any questions for Miss Christen, who has given us all the fabulous tips? Christen, tell us where we can get your book.
Okay, so you can find the book at creativedisciplineproject.com. I have the paperback as well as the ebook available there. I also have it on Amazon. You can find it at Target. You can find it at Barnes and Noble. But if you want it quick, fast, and in a hurry, just go to creativediscipline.com.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So you guys can go to her website and get that. I'm just looking through to see if there's any questions. What are some of your morning routines, you guys? Share your morning routines. What's going on? What gets you set up for the day? Because I'm not a coffee drinker, so I'm like, when I see, like you said, when we worked in an office, and
Mm-hmm.
people would leave and have these coffee runs and spend $12 a day on coffee. I'm like, no one's getting my $12 a day.
Guilty.
You
Guilty.
really? I
Guilty.
refuse. I
I
refuse.
developed a Starbucks addiction. I don't know what sort of cocaine they put in that stuff, but I'm like, let me get a venti, please. A venti. I'm hooked.
Does it really help you power through the day though?
It does. It does. And like I said, I think I developed an addiction because even like working from home, I used to get the Starbucks pods. I don't know how many coffee drinkers are on here, but the Starbucks pods. And it was like, it was watery. So then I started adding instant coffee to it to make it a little bit stronger. So now I'm just concocting some sort of liquid cocaine drink at this point because I'm just like, I need energy. And it helps. Now, I know some people are like, they drink tea. I need to
Yes.
know these tea drinkers. Like,
yes. Jean just said green tea in the morning. We got a Bible verse, say a prayer, and 5 minutes of relaxing, and some coffee. Okay. Oh, you have a question, Christen. How did you prepare yourself to write the book? How did you prepare?
How did I prepare? I think it's so strange because I know that there are like certain processes that people say you should write
Yes.
a book.
We talked about this.
Right. And mine was just like, okay, I'm gonna try it. Here we go. This is my first time writing a book. I knew what the end looked like, so now I have to reverse engineer and figure out how to write this thing. And for me, it was like, okay, I have the concept. I kind of broke it down, like each chapter. So I did somewhat have a process, but for the most part, it was like, okay, I said I'm doing this. I have to do it, and I have to get it done. Mm-hmm. So I think part of the process is really kind of scaring yourself.
Oh, did she freeze? Okay, now she's frozen. See, you just technology. Okay, you froze, Christen. You still there? Okay, it was your turn to freeze now. It was your turn to freeze.
Right. Tag. Yeah, so I was basically saying about how, I kind of scared myself into writing this book. Like, it was like, you put it out there, now get it done. Reverse engineer it, figure out the steps, but now you got to get it done. So hopefully it blesses folks.
It will bless folks, because Dina already said, she said, aside from her morning with her apple cider vinegar and prayer that starts her day, she said, I truly admire your optimism and motivation on life. I agree. Brooklyn Nikki said, prayer, some rap music, and getting her hair in a bun. Yeah, that's my sister.
Listen.
You know what helps me? The red lip. It's not a morning until the red lip is on, and I just feel like pulled together.
Listen, that is like a Black woman's cape. This is our cape. The red lip.
Yes.
Red lip. You put that on, you can conquer anything.
Yes.
Period.
Absolutely. Oh, I wanted to make sure I didn't miss any questions for you. I don't think I did. Oh, Nina Simone Nikwa says, I have my D&D iced tea with milk and 3 liquid sugars. We got some votes for some tea in the morning. I'm definitely a tea sipper. I love tea in the morning. Well, I was going to say that what you did in terms of, Christen, in terms of like just saying, I need to get the book out. I did that too, because I like to scare myself straight, right? So
that's it.
With my first book, I was like, okay, I'm just picking a date. I'm going to look on the calendar, pick a date, and then I know what I need to do. And then I started to tell people, because that too makes you accountable, because then people are like, oh, you said your book was coming out June 15th. How's the book coming along? When will it be live? Right. And then you're like, oh, let me get to write it.
I guess I should.
Yeah, like, let me pull it together. I should take a photo for the cover. Like, let me do it. Veronica Best says, do you journal your thoughts?
I do, but I don't have like a physical journal where I journal my thoughts daily. What I typically do is write down goals, write down, certain thoughts, certain things I want to accomplish. And I kind of have them in sight in my planner, because I do look at my planner every day. And it helps me remind myself, okay, you're twiddling around on Instagram. You need to be doing something to help you push yourself a little further along to reach this goal. Yeah. So, while I do write notes and write things to remind myself of ways that, I can inch a little bit closer to my goals, I don't have like a full on, dear God, this is what's going on with me today.
Dear God, it's me, Christen.
It's me, Christen.
I must. No, that's not in it. No. Okay, sorry.
Not in it. But yeah, I definitely, once again, write the vision, make it plain. You got to see it to achieve it. And I'm going to stop before I come up with any other Jesse Jackson sounding.
Listen,
I am somebody.
Exactly. That might be, all your affirmations and your positive messages might be for the next book. Thank you for posting the link there so people can go and check out Christen's book. I just want to say thank you, Christen. You were my first guest on Instagram Live for the Indie Authors Live, because I normally do it through Facebook, but I'm really liking the level of just comfort and chill mode through doing it this way. So I think we're going to be doing more Instagram Live, Indie Authors Live here. So I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. And wait, shout out my best friend, Tiffany, DETPYT, also owner of Slay and Slides Shoe Boutique.
Okay.
That's my bestie. So
okay,
bestie,
Slay and Slides Shoe Boutique. Okay, we will now be supporting, not only will we purchase books, but we will purchase slides and shoes. Before we go, post your link, bestie, so we can get our slides and shoes, because, you know.
out there, right? We get
exactly. Get everybody. Dina says, "Good job to you both. Thank you so much. Appreciate it." Let's see. Okay, so we will go and we will support your book. We will make sure we hit you up. Is there anything that you have in addition to the book that may be a companion that we can get as well?
So the book, I'm also working on developing a workbook for the book. Right now, the book has a lot of worksheets in there, but if you're looking for a little bit more access to a few more exercises and things to kind of help keep you accountable, keep your eye on the website, creativedisciplineproject.com, because it'll be coming soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone. Take care. And don't forget to support Christen with the Creative Discipline. Take care.
Thank you.